December 2015. A group of founders in San Francisco make one promise. Artificial general intelligence will not belong to any single person or any single corporation. They pledge more than $1 billion to protect it. They write it into a governing charter. They tie employee pay to it. Over the next decade, that promise is tested 3 times. Each time by someone who helped make it. This is the secret war inside OpenAI. Not a fight over algorithms, but over power, governance, and a question no charter could answer. Who gets to decide what AGI is for? Elon Musk fears a monopoly. In late 2015, Google dominates the artificial intelligence industry. To break this grip, Musk joins forces with former Y Combinator president Sam Altman. Together, they launch OpenAI as a nonprofit research laboratory. Greg Brockman joins as chief technology officer. Ilya Sutskever leaves Google Brain to become the research director. The founders want scale. Musk insists on a massive budget. He pledges a portion of the initial $1 billion commitment, alongside tech investors Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman. This capital allows the lab to hire elite researchers. The new entity operates under a simple mandate. It must build value for everyone rather than corporate shareholders. By keeping its research open, the startup aims to shield humanity from concentrated technological power. Sutskever gathers his team in a small San Francisco office to write the first lines of code. But can an idealistic nonprofit survive in an industry driven by raw computational power? In April 2018, OpenAI codifies its founding promise into a formal governing document, the Charter. The policy team spends 3 days drafting the text, typesetting the final version in a minimalist 12-point font. This document declares that the organization's primary fiduciary duty is to humanity, not to wealthy investors. To ensure internal compliance, the founders tie employee compensation directly to how well staff adhere to these principles. The text also includes an extraordinary clause regarding the race to artificial general intelligence. If a value-aligned competitor gets close to AGI first, OpenAI commits to stop competing and instead assist that rival. Sam Altman and Elon Musk announced this document together to build public trust. As computer chip costs surge, the team must find billions of dollars to keep pace with Google. How can a nonprofit fund the future of technology without selling its soul? In early 2018, Elon Musk grows deeply concerned that Google is outpacing OpenAI in computational power, data collection, and research speed. Musk tells Sam Altman that their nonprofit venture has fallen fatally behind its giant industry rivals. He believes the organization has a 0% chance of building artificial general intelligence under its current philanthropic structure. Musk demands absolute control. He proposes a new structure where he takes a majority stake in a commercialized for-profit subsidiary. Alternatively, Musk suggests folding the research lab directly into Tesla to leverage the electric car maker's massive cash flow. Sam Altman rejects the ultimatum. Greg Brockman refuses the buyout. Ilya Sutskever opposes his co-founder. Altman, Brockman, and Sutskever argue that a corporate takeover by Tesla would instantly destroy OpenAI's philanthropic credibility. Musk clashes with the executive team. Musk fractures the partnership completely. Denied the leadership, Musk quits. On February 21, 2018, OpenAI announces Musk's formal departure from the board of directors. Musk freezes his financial support. Of his highly publicized $1 billion funding pledge, Musk delivers only $130 million. This abrupt abandonment leaves the lab's supercomputers running on fumes and forces Altman and Brockman to search for a massive corporate patron to survive. How will Altman and Brockman fund their expensive dream of artificial general intelligence without selling their soul? On February 20th, 2018, OpenAI publicly attributes Elon Musk's departure to a potential conflict of interest with Tesla's self-driving division. The press release states Musk will continue to advise and fund the laboratory. But inside the San Francisco office, few employees believe this official narrative. They see a different reality. The board proposal fails. Musk walks away. He stops his funding. Musk promises to remain an active donor, but he never sends another dollar. Altman and Brockman now face a bleak ledger. Their high-powered supercomputers require millions of dollars in electricity and silicon chips. The original $1 billion funding pledge exists only on paper, leaving the lab with a massive cash deficit. A non-profit structure cannot survive. The battle for control transforms into a battle for survival. How can Altman fund his expensive dream of artificial general intelligence without selling the lab's soul to a corporate giant? Sam Altman faces a mounting power bill. Elite artificial intelligence research requires massive supercomputers, and a nonprofit cannot fund these machines. In March 2019, Altman restructures the laboratory into a capped profit entity to attract billions in venture capital. He launches OpenAI LP. To stay visibly aligned with the founding mission, Altman takes zero equity in the new business. But venture capitalists read this sacrifice as a red flag. They suspect hidden motives. Some institutional investors outright refuse to participate, alarmed by a chief executive who refuses to tie his personal wealth to company performance. In July 2019, Microsoft invests $1 billion to secure an exclusive cloud partnership. OpenAI redirects its entire workflow to Microsoft's Azure servers, locking in the compute power needed to train its next-generation models. The nonprofit charter, once an unyielding shield, becomes a fragile paper wall against a rising tide of corporate gold. This new arrangement transforms the entire tech market. On November 30th, 2022, the company releases ChatGPT. 1 million users sign up in 5 days. By December, the service reaches over 100 million monthly active users, triggering a global surge in generative AI investment. The research lab becomes a global power center. Generative AI investments surge across Silicon Valley as multinational corporations scramble for algorithmic dominance. Altman now commands the fastest growing consumer application in history without owning a single share of its stock. Inside the San Francisco headquarters, Chief Scientist Ilya Sutskever watches the servers strain under the weight of millions of daily prompts. Sutskever fears that rapid commercial scaling will compromise safety. As the balance of power shifts from academic research to corporate scale, how will the nonprofit board control a chief executive who wields global influence but answers to no shareholders? It is November 17th, 2023. The time is exactly noon. The fifth floor conference room is cold. A large mahogany table dominates the space. 6 blue nameplates sit on the wood. The digital wall clock flashes silently. 6 leather chairs encircle the table. Ilya Sutskever walks into the room. He holds a single sheet of paper. His fingers grip the edge tightly. Sam Altman sits across from him. The co-founders lock eyes. The silence is absolute. Sutskever delivers the board's decision. Sam Altman is fired. The official board announcement alleges that a thorough review found Altman failed to communicate candidly with directors. This perceived lack of honesty severely hindered the board's ability to exercise its fundamental duties under the nonprofit charter. Sutskever and his fellow board members believe they are acting to protect humanity from a rapidly accelerating technological threat. Microsoft executives know nothing of this. Redmond remains completely in the dark. Satya Nadella sits in his office. A sudden alert flashes on his phone. The message contains the termination notice. The timing is brutal. Nadella reads the words quickly. He has exactly 1 minute. Then the public announcement goes live. The software giant has no warning. $13 billion of capital sits exposed. The unprecedented boardroom coup immediately sends shockwaves through the entire global artificial intelligence industry. An empty swivel chair sits at the head of the table as a quiet monument to this fragile governance. For the rest of the world, the sudden rupture threatens to derail the tools that millions use daily. Multinational corporations scramble to evaluate their dependence on a system that could evaporate overnight. Global markets watch closely as the custody of the world's most powerful technology suddenly hangs in the balance. This single boardroom conflict instantly exposes the deep vulnerability of the entire generative artificial intelligence boom. Inside the room, Sutskever stands alone. He stares at the empty table. The heavy silence returns. How will the remaining directors defend their coup when the entire workforce turns against them? At 11:45 p.m. Pacific Time on November 17th, Greg Brockman sends his resignation email. He refuses to serve the new leadership. He walks out the door. Then, Satya Nadella acts. The Microsoft chief bypasses the board completely. On Twitter, Nadella announces he is hiring both Altman and Brockman to lead a brand new artificial intelligence team inside Microsoft. He offers immediate employment with matching compensation to every single OpenAI researcher who resigns. The strategic Counterstrike instantly threatens to gut the startup of its core engineering talent. Without these elite minds, OpenAI cannot maintain or update its multi-billion-dollar models. The corporate balance of power flips in a single evening. The board holds the charter. Microsoft now controls the leverage. Within hours, the center of gravity shifts from the directors to the builders of the technology. Ilya Sutskever and the remaining board members face a ghost town of empty offices with no researchers to write the code. Can the board defend its nonprofit mission when the entire workforce threatens to walk out the door? Over the weekend, a digital document circulates through the encrypted chat channels of OpenAI. Engineers refuse to write code. Instead, they copy their names onto a shared petition. Over 700 of the company's 770 employees sign this ultimatum. The text demands that the remaining directors resign and reinstate Sam Altman immediately. If the board refuses, the entire workforce will walk out. They will move directly to Microsoft. Satya Nadella guarantees matching compensation to every single defector. The board holds the formal legal charter, but they are kings ruling over an empty castle. Then the boardroom coalition fractures from within. Ilya Sutskever stares at his screen, his hands steady, and types a public confession on X. He deeply regrets his participation in the board's actions. Sutskever signs the very employee letter aimed at his own removal. The board's power evaporates. This mass migration of elite research talent threatens to halt the global progression of generative AI. The international race for superintelligence, which dictates the future of global defense and white-collar work, suddenly hangs on a single weekend petition in San Francisco. The threat of total liquidation forces immediate capitulation. On November 21, 2023, just 5 days after his firing, Sam Altman walks back through the doors of the San Francisco headquarters as chief executive. The old board is gone. Brett Taylor takes the gavel as the new board chair. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers joins the seat beside him. Adam D'Angelo remains the only director to survive the purge. This 5-day collapse nearly dissolves a company valued in the tens of billions, leaving the reinstated leader with absolute operational control. But as the dust settles in San Francisco, a new legal threat looms from their original benefactor, Elon Musk. How will the rebuilt company defend its commercial transformation when its original founder takes them to court? In February 2024, Elon Musk files a sweeping lawsuit. He targets OpenAI, Sam Altman, and Greg Brockman. Musk alleges a betrayal of the founding nonprofit mission. He claims the executives unjustly enriched themselves. The billionaire demands up to $150 billion. He wants the court to return this capital directly to the charitable foundation. OpenAI counters by releasing Musk's internal emails, which reveal he pushed for a massive for-profit expansion before his departure. They argue the suit merely serves to protect xAI, the competitor Musk founded in 2023. This fight over legitimacy forces a permanent structural shift. In October 2025, the company reorganizes into a Delaware public benefit corporation called OpenAI Group PBC. The new charter legally forces directors to prioritize safety and security over pecuniary interests, but the equity split tells a highly commercial story. This complex corporate realignment permanently alters the balance of power. Microsoft secures a 27% stake. The nonprofit OpenAI Foundation retains 26%. This allocation values the charity's holding at over $130 billion, the largest charitable asset in American history. Can this new corporate architecture survive the ultimate test of a federal courtroom, or will the legal battle tear the empire apart? In April 2026, the courtroom battle begins in Oakland, California. Elon Musk takes the stand. He warns the jury of a Terminator outcome. He accuses OpenAI of stealing a charity. On May 12th, Sam Altman delivers his testimony. Altman tells the jury that Musk demanded 90% of the equity. He claims Musk declared that the nonprofit had a 0% chance of success without massive investment. Behind the scenes, the corporate machinery shifts. In late April, Altman publishes the first full charter rewrite since 2018. The company deletes the central promise of its existence, the binding pledge that its primary fiduciary duty is to humanity. On May 18th, the jury returns. They deliberate for under 2 hours. The jurors find that the statute of limitations bars Musk's claims. The judge dismisses the lawsuit without ruling on the merits. Musk vows to appeal, calling the decision a calendar technicality. The legal machinery grinds to a halt, but the global race for superintelligence accelerates. Corporate giants construct server farms across the globe to host these models. Yet inside the quiet offices of San Francisco, the legal victory leaves a hollow crown in Altman's hands. Sam Altman holds absolute control of the technology, but the founding promise is gone. Who decides what artificial general intelligence is actually for? Today, OpenAI operates as a commercial titan, its early ideals of shared power replaced by corporate reality. The ultimate question is no longer when artificial general intelligence will arrive, but who gets to hold the key. When the destiny of humanity becomes a boardroom asset, everyone pays the price. What do you think this means for our future? Share your thoughts below.